Awesome. So Long Range Shooters of Utah, what a pleasure we have today. I've been following Mr. Clint Walker for a long time. If you're not following him on Instagram, you should be. Not only is it awesome content for long range shooting, but this guy is absolutely hilarious. He's got a great sense of humor and lots of fun stuff. As you can tell by their booth, it's pretty epic. So Clint, pleasure to meet you, man. I want to talk about their ARs. So in particular their Petra. So they make a 300 Win Mag or a 300 Norma AR platform, which is phenomenal. He's got videos of him shooting it fully automatic, correct? Or close to.
Running it fast.
Running it real fast. It looks fully auto, but shooting that kind of a caliber in that platform that fast, and the recoil is actually pretty impressive. So anyway, tell us about the Petra.
Okay, so the Petra for us was our entry into the long action or heavy Magnum caliber market. We have, again, the 300 Win Mag and the 300 Norma. We also have a 338 Norma. These are different things we can chamber. We looked at another round yesterday in Norma that we can do, all the way down to the 22 nozzle. We've got a lot of calibers that are great for long range shooting. So this year at SHOT Show, we actually introduced 4 new calibers of a rifle that will offer the standard 6.5 Grendel, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Norma, and the 260 Ram. Okay, so for the long range shooters out there, you'll know what the benefits and attributes of those rounds are. Let's talk about the rifle. In the Petra platform, again, this is our long action. You know, that rifle, even with the optic on there, is pretty lightweight and nimble. With this larger U.S. optic on there, it comes in right around 12 pounds. We compete with these rifles around the country throughout the year. We go head-to-head against bolt guns, and we like to because we like to show that, number one, we're reliable, number two, we're accurate, and hopefully people find our ambidextrous controls and some of the other accoutrements on the rifle to be innovative. So that's the Petra. We have them with a proof carbon fiber barrel or our own Dracos line of barrels.
Okay. Which is a Teledyne Tech is part of that, right? The new Dracos barrels.
So we did as we read through their patents. We were interested in a barrel technology that would rapidly remove heat from the core and attempt to extend barrel life is really what we were after. And I can tell you right now we have 2 rifles in our R&D. One has 5,800 rounds of 300 Win Mag through it. The other one has 6,300 rounds of 300 Win Mag through it. Both are still shooting in the half MOA range. We can get them down to the quarter MOA range if we run the hand loads and stuff through them. But they're still shooting as good as they did the day that we got them out. And for the long range shooters, you know, we've basically developed our own theories as to what leads to you know, a barrel shooting out, so to speak. And back in the day, I thought it was throat erosion, and actually I don't believe that that's the case anymore. But that's our Dracos barrel line, and we can talk about all that good stuff.
Sure. I'm curious to hear is a couple of things that I think have plagued the AR platform for being a long range, you know, considered to be a reliable long range option. One, you know, what did you do with the 300 Win Mags to tame down the recoil and to really make the thing work? I mean, it's really not. Typically, AR is not designed for that heavy of a Magnum. So what did you do different?
That's really not. So there's a couple things going on there. Of course, the fact that it's a semi-auto platform lends itself well. You have a reciprocating piece of mass that's moving rearward while the projectile is moving out of the barrel. You know, that has everything to do with you know, the initial impact that you're going to see, and the difference in the lack of recoil. The other is our muzzle brake. We use we call it our DS300 muzzle brake. It might look very common in terms of its porting and design, but there's a couple things going on internally. Before you see this first port, there's an expansion chamber in there. The types of metal that we use to make those out of, again, we are accuracy-driven company, so the muzzle brake is obviously important to that. There's another feature that's actually located inside the receiver set. So you hear about these anti-tilt bolt carrier groups. You know, they're a little larger in the diameter on the rear of the bolt carrier group, and that's so that as it's going down the buffer tube, it's not walking as it's going down there. Well, the problem with that is if you look at the AR design, it has an inherent flaw to why that, you know, where that would be beneficial. And look at this one here. So where this transition is here, this swoop, if you open that up and you look, you'll see your carrier hanging down right here. So that means in the first 5% of the stroke, it's actually already moving downward in another position. So we've built a bridge in here to hold,
Cradle it.
and that simple bridge actually flattens out the recoil harmonic, I guess you'd call it, the impulse of the recoil, and it really helps to mitigate the recoil. So believe it or not, that simple thing is the one that you feel, especially when you're feeling it on your face. So that's one of the ways that we mitigate that recoil. So we talked about the Petra. I think you're interested in the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. So we have had guys go out and say, you know what, I'm going to build an AR-10,
Sure.
run it into 6.5 Creed or a 260, and try to compete in PRS. And a couple of them have gone back. They've tried it, gone back for various reasons. And I was actually just in the process of making a video saying, why don't we see more semi-autos in these matches, especially if we're shooting targets that aren't quite as tiny, you know, where you have a little more margin of error. So I'm curious to hear if there's anything else that you did to this to tame that or fix that and make it more precise.
So here's what we've done on the 6.5 Creedmoor. Number one, if you do follow us on social media, we were showing off the Creedmoor. We actually were competing with our R&D rifle. We have a saying in the company, run your gun, not your mouth. That's who we are. When people ask what our marketing budget is, I tell them this year it's 250,000 rounds. That's our marketing budget. We like to go to the range. We like to pit ourselves in competitions directly head-to-head against whether it's a bolt gun or whatever, because we like to prove what it is that we're selling, okay? So on the Creedmoor in particular, what we ran into in development there is, again, there's another inherent flaw. And when people take these AR platforms and they start to change the calibers and call it innovative, there's really nothing innovative about some of them, okay? In the Creedmoor, because of the length of the round and the length of the projectile, it had a flaw in the barrel extension itself. And so when we looked at that under high-speed cameras, we realized that even if you took an AR-10, you know, a 308 barrel extension, and you tried to Dremel it down, you would still see that round almost jumping into the chamber. And because the projectile is so long, it would actually damage the projectile, and if it didn't, it would at least throw off the concentricity of that.
Yeah.
So what we did is we went to work and we designed and we actually manufacture our own barrel extension for the 260 REM and the 6.5 Creedmoor, and as well as the Norma and some of these others. And that's a critical component to that. Another thing that's interesting on the Creedmoor as we went into development is the magazine that the person is using has everything to do with the accuracy. You know, how does it feed? How reliable is it? In general, I won't run a PMag in an AR-10 platform for a precision mag. I like to run a Lancer. Actually, that's my preference. There are others. You know, there's the metal mags from LaRue and Knights, but in the 6.5 Creedmoor, the Magpul's hands down the best mag to run. But in the other calibers that we're running, we stay away from that because we can literally see a quarter to half MOA change in our groups.
You've obviously done a lot of testing on that to figure that all out.
We shoot a lot.
Yeah. I noticed from Instagram. So now I noticed you have this mag here for, I'm assuming, the Norma.
Yep.
So is this of your manufacturer, or is this...
So we make this ourselves.
Just for the Norma?
just for the Norma and the Petra, any of the Petra platforms. So what changes on this is the follower changes, and that's what's actually changing, guys, on your magazine. If you look at we were talking about these magazines earlier, the Lancer versus the PMag versus the LaRue versus some of these others, you'll notice that these lips here, these V lips, are set back different or forward different, or they've got a slightly different angle. And guys, I'm here to tell you, if you're building a gun, pay attention to this when you're building that firearm, because if you can take even a simple file sometimes and just round the edge here, you'll actually see that it's a smoother feed. And just take your finger and start to feed it through. So when we designed the magazine for the Petra, again, we are building a quarter MOA accurate production AR gasket. Okay, and I know that term is
the unicorn.
Yeah, well,
follow him on Instagram. You'll understand the unicorn joke.
Yeah, if it was truly unicorn, we'd only do the one. We're the unicorn killer, right? So we actually we produce it over and over again. And if you're a hand loader at home, and I'm not personally into hand loading, but I have a very qualified guy that does that for me. When I shoot in competitions, and when we're zeroing in, I mean, people just go, "Holy shit! You know, this thing's the truth." And that's what we're there for. But it's not only about stacking tolerances when it comes to all of these parts and pieces. We're an aerospace manufacturing company by from the ground up. We stack tolerances to get to the level of fitment that we do, but it's only as good as the projectile that you're shooting. It's only as good as the round that you're putting through it. It's only as good as the person shooting it.
Eliminating inconsistencies.
Right. So the long-range shooters at home, again, you'll pick up on some of those things. When I say quarter MOA accuracy, I'm saying, guys, consistently, we will sit down and we run 5-shot groups because it's a gas gun and we're trying to eliminate that. We rode the unicorn. We got lucky 3 times.
Yeah.
We do that with factory ammo.
Yep.
Okay. But we run 5-round groups, and then we do it back to back to ensure that it wasn't just an anomaly that we saw. And that's the level that we expect from that. Now, that being said, we were going through the Creedmoor. We realized that, you know, these factory loads that are out there, I mean, our shot groups were all over the place. You know, they were all generally good, but we didn't see anything that was just mind-blowing. You know, I can tell you in the Petra 300 Win Mag, or even in our Alpha DMR, the 308, we run Hornady ELDX round through that. It is some of the best shooting factory ammo I've ever fired, ever. In the history of shooting, and I've fired a lot of rounds, it's the most impressive round to me. We get half MOA consistency out of that ammo, and it's a hell of a hunting round.
Yeah.
But then when we got into the Creedmoor, it was kind of all over the place, and you know, we see 3/4 MOA consistently, and we ride the unicorn on occasion, and we get a half MOA. But you're really going to have to hand load to get this thing to work, because I'm just not that impressed with some of the factory loads that are out there right now.
Very cool. Yeah, I came by the booth last year for just a split second. You were super busy, and the booth was half the size, so it was really crowded. But one of the things they did show me is they popped the pins on it and they just held it, and it doesn't come apart. I mean, you got to really, the tolerances are unbelievable on these rifles. So just to wrap up, I mean, what am I looking at if I want to get into a 6.5 Creedmoor and a Petra?
You know, 6.5 Creedmoor is basically built on the Alpha DMR chassis. Our MSRP on that is on the Alpha DMR in the $3,400 range. That's with a composite barrel. Guys, I want to tell you, with the Dracos, that rifle will come in the $3,200 range. The barrel has a lifetime warranty. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Now, there's probably people losing their minds right now, you know, at home when they hear that. We can offer a lifetime warranty. I'm not saying that the barrel can't be shot out. Okay, I'm saying that our Dracos barrel, our composite barrel, extends the life. Right now on the Win Mag, we're seeing it by a factor of 5x. Okay. But I'm not done testing it. It could be 6 or 10x. I don't know.
That's as far as you've gotten.
But barrel burner, you know, you hear that term like a Creedmoor or some of these others. I expect them to have a longer lifetime of accuracy. And if a guy does shoot it out, let's say that round count is 10,000 rounds, say 15, I don't know what that number is, but if a guy's shooting that much, and if you're a competitive long-range shooter and you're shooting that much, I'm going to give you another barrel. So when you own a Dracos barrel, you're going to own it for life.
Is it something like an AR where you can install it yourself, or are we going to be sending it back into you to have you do it?
You can install it yourself. In fact, we've set it up where on the Dracos system it has an adjustable dwell time feature. It's a patent pending feature that we have on the gas block itself, and that allows us, in fact, if I can grab that those two pieces there, I'll show you. This is the gas block on the Dracos barrel system. It's a two-piece design. So this is effectively a gas key that comes right into place here, right? Okay. And on the front of that, we have this piston area, and it'll be a simple
insert
screw, right?
Okay.
And it allows you to virtually extend the length of time of your gas. So the guys who are really into long range shooting understand what dwell time is.
Yep.
To be honest with you, there's not a lot of people in the gas gun market that understands the actual impact that it has on your accuracy because of the, unlocking and locking of the bolt. So pretty cool. So if you're a guy that hand loads or you're building a custom rifle, when you have a Dracos barrel, it will effectively allow you to say, okay, well, I'm at a rifle length or rifle length. Now I want to go rifle length +2. I'm going to
screw it out and create a bigger chamber. Huh.
Right.
Very interesting. Very innovative.
Anyway, that's the Dracos system. That's the lineup. Go on to falkordefense.com if you want to learn more about the rifles that we offer or the parts that we sell, or go to dracosbarrels.com and you can read the H.P. White study that was done.
Are these available for someone that has just an AR-10 that wants to get just a barrel? Is that an option?
Yes. So
awesome.
Quarter immediately shipping right now. We have Dracos available for the rifles that we do sell as a standard option. Q2 we begin shipping these for the AR-10 platform. Our bandwidth is heavily dedicated to the 6.5 Creedmoor because that's where
the one everybody wants. Yep.
And then we also have bolt gun variations available, pre-fit and custom.
Very cool. Very cool. But you got to check this guy out. Before we go, we got to see the T-shirt, man. This is everybody's been talking about this shirt.
Was elected to president today, so I decided I'd wear my Trump Cat T-shirt, Make America Great Again.
Absolutely epic, epic. Thank you so much. Real pleasure to come by and meet you, let alone spend this much time with you. So we'd love to go out and test one of these sometimes, maybe next year in Media Day, or maybe we'll have to drive to Montana and come hang out with you guys. So
we should plan to.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So here are at SHOT Show 2016. Got Todd McGee from Dead Air Armament.
Hi, I'm Kelly McMillan here.
We're going to give it a shot right now.